Hello, this is Sergeant of the 14th District Chicago Police Department. Calling to inform me that your store, located at 1845 Northwestern Challengers, has a front broken window, and we need someone to come out to secure it. Right now we have one of our officers there making out a report. Please give us a call here at the 14th District Station. Thank you.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting, comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers. And now, here are Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
So yeah, I realized right away that people are going to expect us to
talk about that?
Elaborate on that message.
The actual real message that was left on my phone?
Yes. This morning.
This morning.
This very morning.
Very early this morning.
I mean, it's weird that we're recording now because, first of all, I've been at the store for a very long time today.
It's true.
Not only did I have to get in early as a result of that message, but we had the Ryan Browne and Addison Duke release party
this evening
for the God Hates Astronauts 3D Cowboy presents 2D
God Hates Astronauts presents
3D Cowboys 2D Spectacular.
An original hardcover overseen by GHA creator Ryan Browne with a plethora of talented artists adding their own stamp to the GHA universe.
God Hates Astronauts is a book that has sold very well for us over the years, and you've heard us talk about it a lot, and it was originally Chris Burnham who literally put it in our hands and said, you guys, this guy is amazing.
Yeah, when it was still self-published. It was like the second issue, maybe? No, the first issue, I think, was all that had come out.
You need to have this book. And I honestly...
The party we did, was that issue 2 or 3?
It was a different print. He did his 24-hour comic, and then a couple of different versions, I think, of 1 and 2. I think it might have been 3.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure. I want to see if I can't look back in my emails and figure out first contact.
Sure.
I don't know if I reached out to him because of Burnham, or if Burnham had said, hey, I'm sending this guy in, you check out his book, whatever.
I think it was the latter.
But either way, it was love at first sight.
Yeah.
And we've been huge Ryan Browne fans ever since. Yeah. Not just Ryan Browne the creator, but Ryan Browne the person.
Yeah, I'd say he's a legit friend.
Yeah.
I would say him and Carrie are both legit friends.
I mean, that coming from you, that is a big deal.
It is. Very few people hit that level as legit friend.
I think listeners and employees know that.
It's true. Family members, too. Jesus. The list goes on. A lot of people don't make the cut, look, Patrick. A lot of people.
Your family doesn't have to be your friends.
It's true.
I mean, your family.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be my friends.
Okay.
Not all of your family, because, of course, some of them are.
Sure.
I can name a lot of your family.
You can, it's true. A lot of them have been to the store.
I can't tell them apart, but I can name them.
I can't tell a few of them apart, which has gotten me into trouble.
Your mom, however, is a wonderful, wonderful woman.
She's a nice lady.
And she cares about Challengers deeply.
She does.
As we all do.
I don't know if all of us care about it as much as she does.
Well, I mean, certainly one person or persons didn't care about it as much. But anyway, so we were at the store late for a Ryan Browne party, and the neat thing about this new book, and you've heard us talk about it in recent weeks, it's an all-new, all-original...
Self-contained
anthology, which has a linking story, but it has just so many wonderful talents.
Yeah.
Like Xander Cannon, like James Herron, like the aforementioned Chris Burnham, like Joe Quiones, drawing stories, all written by Ryan Browne. And Ryan does a bunch of the art as well, and Addison Duke does a ton of the coloring. The coolest thing about the book, not only that it looks great, like all of Ryan's books are well designed, and it was a Kickstarter book, so a lot of people got it that way, but we have it.
We do, yeah. We've got a bunch of extra copies that we picked up from Ryan, so if you are in the Chicagoland area and you are a Ryan Browne fan, you can stop into the store, pick up your own copy of God Hates Astronauts presents 3D Cowboys 2D Spectacular.
And I know that tonight was really its world premiere, but I don't know that other stores have it yet.
I don't know.
I'm sure they will. Well, some of them will. The ones that care.
Was there a retailer level?
I don't know. We didn't even try.
Okay. I'm just...
When we support Kickstarters, which is less and less, lately. Even if there's a retailer level, if it's somebody we know, we'll reach out to and say, what would you prefer? Would you prefer us supporting it this way to help you hit your goal?
Or should we just buy it outright from you so Kickstarter doesn't have to take a cutout?
Exactly. So we do it that way.
Yeah.
And there have been some recent Kickstarters. For example, Cullen Bunn had a horror one he was doing. And we've learned the hard way that if it's like a $20, $25 graphic novel, and it's a pledge level of 10 copies, we're not going to sell those 10 copies.
No.
We need a level of 5. And even that's pushing it.
It is. It depends on the creative team and the genre.
Yeah, we've made a lot of Kickstarter mistakes in the past.
Yeah. And on top of that, there's a lot of these books that come out through other publishers eventually. A lot of Kickstarter projects where maybe it's not in as nice a package and maybe it might take a little longer, but it eventually comes out, and there's very few projects that we can't wait to just get it from Image or Boom or Oni or whomever ends up picking it up.
Obviously, if the creator is a friend of ours, we want to support them, we'll do it that way. There have been instances where we support the Kickstarter, then it becomes available in Diamond, like with Brynwyn's Minions. Diamond then canceled it, but also the version Diamond had was a soft cover, and when I say Diamond had, the one they were advertising but then never came through with.
Mm-hmm.
The one we got from the Kickstarter is a hardcover.
Yeah.
So there are sometimes differences, but yeah, you're right. It's, like I said, we've made a lot of Kickstarter mistakes. Supporting a Ryan Browne book is never a mistake.
No.
And his body of work just keeps growing and growing, and I've talked to some retailers that just don't get it, which you kind of have to get it. You kind of have to like his work to be able to sell it.
Yeah.
It's a level of absurdist humor that just resonates really well with both of us.
Yeah.
And I think
it's just that the God Hates Astronauts universe now is just so
vast.
I was going to say it's insane. It's just the amount of stuff in it that he can pull from for different kinds of characters. It's the weirdest, like, bonkers universe. It's very fun to see like where he goes with it next and what thing happens next. I got a chance at the end of the evening to talk to him about kind of what the next thing is, and it's interesting to see where his mind's going, like where he wants to go next.
Well, it's my understanding that one of the new things is a new character called 3D Farmer. And if that ever...
Jeff Smith and Scholastic would probably disagree with that.
if that makes it into the GHA universe, while Dal will receive no credit, it was completely Dal.
Yeah, I mean, I had reminded Ryan that he basically has carte blanche to steal any stupid thing I say around him and put it in the book.
True, but I'll know it came from you.
Okay.
Just like you named the fish and chips restaurant in the Mike Norton Curse universe.
Oh, yeah.
For those who don't remember, it's a pirate-themed fish restaurant, and it's called...
Pieces of 8. A-T-E. That might be the smartest thing I ever came up with. And that's it. It was like 8 years ago. I was the top of the mountain.
It's all downhill from there.
Yeah. And
it was downhill because this has been one of those, not just days, one of those weeks. And I'm going to jump in and say that on the personal side, I got some information today that it's not that big of a deal.
Patrick's pregnant.
It's something I've been through before, but have to go through again. And the last time it happened, I kind of didn't tell people ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Lately, though, I've been accused of not letting people in enough or not giving them the chance to care about situations.
Okay.
So,
to be clear, do I have to care, or...
Are you capable of it?
I mean, about certain things.
Yeah.
Not
okay.
people, but like...
Now you never have to care.
Like stories and fictional things.
You mean like your soaps?
My stories?
Yeah.
My stories about young Japanese detectives and the masked riders that they form.
No, I was thinking of something else. So I just mentioned to my siblings that this upcoming occurrence is occurring. And then had to immediately come back and say, wait, no, it's automatic. It's already been pushed back 3 weeks. And it immediately turned into a, well, this happened to me, and this happened to me kind of thing.
No, but that's not just your family. That's a weird, in general thing where people
Right.
have to say, yes, I empathize, because of this thing that I need to talk about now in my life.
It's interesting you phrase it that way, because I never look at it at that. I look at it as one-upsmanship. I look at it as...
I just agree with that, sure.
Look, whenever you say... If you're ever with a friend and you're like, oh man, my knee hurts. They don't say, oh, what'd you do? Are you okay? They go, yeah, my back is killing me. It's automatically, I also have pain, but my pain is a little bit worse than yours.
Mm-hmm. It was a thing that Russell T. Davies wrote a million years ago in that Doctor Who script book, where he was complaining to another, I think the guy who wrote the book, Benjamin Cook?
Ben Cook, yeah.
They were talking about skins, which weirdly got a shout-out on the most recent Venture Brothers episode.
I know, right?
Which I was thrilled for. And they didn't just...
I immediately thought of you and Ashley for that.
They were super accurate with it. It's about teenagers who have sex and take drugs. But anyway, there's a point where he was making where he thought the characters were, in season 1 of series 1 of Skins, the UK version, that they weren't written the way people are, because in general, like, they would have these dialogue scenes and it would be characters listening to one another and really taking what someone else is saying. He's like, people don't behave that way.
No.
They're always just waiting for their turn to talk. They're not really listening to you. They just want their chance to say something now, to be the spotlight. And I think about that a lot when it comes to things like empathizing with people, where there is this tendency, and I try and recognize it in myself and stop doing it.
As do I.
Where there's that, you've told me something really sad, and now let me tell you about my sad thing. And it's like, wait, why am I telling you that? Why is that relevant to your feelings? Maybe it's not, maybe I shouldn't say that.
I mean, it's possible that what you're trying to do is say what you said, empathize, and be like, yes, I understand your pain, and here is how I can tell you I understand it, because I've felt pain as well. Mm-hmm. But it never comes across that way.
Right.
It comes across as blatantly insensitive.
Blatantly insensitive feels a bit much.
I guess it's just in the delivery that people have.
I would say insensitive, maybe not blatantly.
Blatantly. Like neon green arrow pointing. And when I say green arrow, I don't mean...
reprehensibly.
Pro wrestler Stephen Amell.
He's still an amateur.
I don't know. He got paid on a professional level.
Did he really?
Well, I mean...
Do you think he got paid?
Yeah, of course he did. Everyone
really?
got paid. Maybe.
I wonder if Stephen Amell got paid. Like, he seems like a guy who... I mean, the merch sales, sure. I'm sure he's getting a cut of that or taking part in that. But I feel like the wrestling part is something where he's like, no, I like these guys. I like being able to do this. My fame allows me to do this.
Well, I'll find out.
Yeah, please do.
I'll dig into this.
I'm curious.
I think it is weird that you are wearing a Vigilante Club t-shirt again. Like, is it a different one, or have you just not taken it off?
I have multiple layers of them. So as one of them gets sweaty or wet or has stains on it from my tears of realizing I won't get a chance to see Stephen Amell wrestle for a while, I just take it off, and then there's a clean one.
But you said sweaty, so that would be the bottom one.
Right. So, I mean, the stains on the top one are where I have to take it off. The bottom one is getting soaked up through the layers above it. So there's kind of like this middle layer that we're getting to where it's fresh. That's
so disturbing.
I'm sorry you have to look at it. I can turn the lights down.
It's not my eyes that I'm worried about. There's just a little odor. So on Wednesday of this week, I noticed a suspicious charge on my business debit card from Office Max for over $1,000. And I can tell you I was not at Office Max / Office Depot in a very long time.
Certainly not buying $1,000 worth of merchandise.
I didn't buy $1,000 worth of merchandise. So you know what that means.
How many jars of candy do you think that is? Those big old samplers.
Like the wrapped Hershey's one, or like the chiclet bubblegum one? Yeah, but what's in it?
Let's say it's the chocolate ones.
Oh, how many of those is it?
What do those cost you think? $20? More?
Yeah, like $25, so...
40 of those, then.
Well, minus a couple for tax.
35.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
Like 35 of those.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean...
I assume that's what somebody bought.
That's the weird thing. Like, you can't just click on the charge and find out.
Yeah, I guess you could probably contact Office Max.
Maybe.
Or Office Depot.
Maybe.
But at that point, it's just curiosity. There's no help there.
So anyway, my card got... identity thieved.
Identity thefted.
Again.
Yep.
4th time in less than 2 years. Second time this year. It happened twice last year. It was like April and December of last year and May and September of this year.
Do you remember how these chip cards were going to make everything more safe
Right.
and reliable?
And after the last time, and I think we talked about it on the podcast, the theft prevention agent and I went over all of my recent purchases and
To find out who the culprit might be.
And
How did your number get out in the wild?
what it seemed to be was paying at the pump at gas stations, and literally I had just bought gas for the motorcycle at the Shell on the corner of Western and North.
I know how that is. The same thing had happened to me. And oh, wait. No. Sorry. Shouldn't do that.
Yeah, but it did actually.
It did, actually.
Yeah, and we talked about it when we talked about this
did.
last time.
I was immediately identity thieved.
Yes.
Like within 10 minutes.
And so since then, I have not paid at the pump. I have gone inside to pay for my gas. And that's a little bit annoying because you have to estimate how much gas you're going to use.
Way less convenient.
And I can tell you, in this time period, I have never gone over, which I kind of want to find out what happens. Like if I buy $40 worth of gas, but it stops pumping at $38.17.
Oh, like do you get your buck
Yeah.
80 whatever back?
Yeah.
Probably not.
But you'd have to, right?
Would you?
I don't know. Or does it just sit on the machine until the next person gets that gas?
No, they probably just keep it.
So I've never gone over, but what I have to do is quick mental math, like what is the per gallon price here?
Mm-hmm.
How much do I think how many gallons I think I'm going to get?
Sure.
And it's been making me get gas a little bit more frequently, but it has kept me from paying at the pump.
Sure.
That doesn't matter.
Apparently not.
So it happened again.
I mean, it might help a little bit. Like,
Sure.
Maybe you would have been identity thief like 6 times this year.
Yeah, I
instead
know.
of twice.
Like I'm not going to go back to doing it, but I felt like I had fixed the problem.
So here's a thing that you could do.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is worth doing. Certain people will for transactions where they don't 100% trust the processor or the place that's receiving the information about their card,
Yeah.
will use refillable debit cards.
Okay.
Is it worth doing that maybe just to have one for gas stations? To just shift money over to that?
Yeah, people did suggest that when I
Just like keep
brought this up.
$100 on there, and then when it runs low, you put $100 back on it or whatever.
I guess. How do I can just transfer money that way?
I mean, I've never used a refillable debit card to refill it, so I don't 100% know. But it might be worth investigating.
That also means one more card to carry, and I don't carry a wallet. I carry a little clip,
I do too. Yeah.
and I need to. There's a maximum number of cards. Like for example, I go to Bubble Land for my laundry, and
Sure.
there a chip card.
Sure.
So I can't carry that with me. I need to make sure to bring it when I'm going because I have too many cards.
Sure. I think my the sleeve I used for my cards
Yeah.
actually felt lighter when I took the MoviePass card out of it. Like it felt significantly lighter. I'm like, one card. There's
Wait,
one
you know
card
what?
missing from this.
That I may not. I don't think I took my MoviePass card out because it hasn't expired yet.
Sure.
I still get to use it for another week.
Okay.
I mean,
If you can
attempt
if you can.
to use it. Yeah. So that'll help. But no, the refillable debit card is a good idea.
Well, maybe it's a good idea. It depends on, a lot of those cards have an upfront fee or like a maintenance fee, and that can be
Yeah.
troubling. And how you refill it could be enough of a hassle where you're like, I don't care. But I mean, if you've got a minute,
Or
you might
maybe
wanna look into it.
I open a fourth business account at PNC
Perfect.
and just do that.
Perfect.
So anyway, now that this has happened so much, I have it down to a science as to what cards need to.
What recurring charges you need to replace the
thank
number
you.
on?
Although I constantly find, every once in a while, you find out the hard way, like, oh, right, my Ventra card.
Right.
And one of it was like, oh, an auto pay at a doctor's office. Oh, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, luckily, you have a business debit card
On the same account.
on the same account, so I could take all of the important store recurring charges, like Southern Hobby and whatnot,
Yeah,
and
big retailer.
just put them on your card because
Yeah.
it's the same account.
Yep.
Here's a quick irony, not irony. It's you'll decide if it's ironic. A Southern Hobby fact: a while ago, we went to them and said, "Hey, we want to. You're charging us a fee for using a credit card," which we've talked about this on the podcast before. I don't think that's cool. We don't do that. We don't charge you a patron extra because we get hit with a service charge fee for accepting a credit card.
Yeah, it's just a cost of doing business.
Cost of doing business. So we wanted to switch over to a check. They basically didn't want us to switch to check. A check is too much of a hassle for them. Well, we just got a letter, an email today from Southern Hobby with a new policy saying that also one of the things, and I don't know if this is too inside baseball or like telling too much about their operations, which may not be cool, but one of the things was they were gonna. So our Southern Hobby bills are like our diamond bills. They're up and down. They're huge. They're small. There's no.
Yeah, the pre-order system is. Some weeks it's nothing. Like this week, there was nothing on pre-order that we received. It was just refilling certain supplies that we were running low on. And some weeks it's literally $1,000 of Hasbro product that just all came in on the same truck. And you never know. Like somebody had we gotten in a couple pops from the Venom line, but not the whole wave of Venom pops. Just 2 of them. So someone had asked, "Well, when are you getting the next one?" And it's like, not only do I not know, we only ever find out the day before we get them.
Yeah.
Like literally. We get them on Thursday, we find out on Wednesday, you're getting this. And sometimes we don't even find out until we open the box on Thursday, hey, guess what, there's these 2.
Because
they came
often,
in late in the day on Wednesday after we placed our order.
So it's great that they get them out to us.
Oh, for sure.
So we still have them, but then we just don't know that that's an extra charge coming our way.
But that's the main reason why we do those Instagram, Twitter, Facebook posts for New Toy Thursday. Otherwise, there's no way to let people know.
Yeah.
Because it's not in our weekly email. It's not on our website. It's not in any of the places that you would know we got this figure in that you might want. So we have to do the Thursday posts to let people know there's new stuff in.
So normally, we would place an order, and then they deliver it the next day, and then they charge us. They've started charging us the second the order is placed, which they've been doing for a while now.
And it just seems like a good policy in general. Like, we don't like shipping out books for people who we ship out books for without charging them first. Because what happens if you ship the books out and the card's declined or whatever?
Well, this shouldn't go without saying, but they've added a procedure where if you order your things, they immediately charge you, and the charge doesn't go through, you will not get those things until you pay for them.
Okay.
Obviously, this is a rule they have to have because they've been getting burned on it.
Sure. Every time there's a rule anywhere, it's because someone caused them to have to make a rule.
But I just wish that we had the option of paying with a check.
Yeah, right.
And honestly, I prefer the money coming out immediately. I've talked about this before. I much prefer paying for product up front. I don't want to earn the money to pay for that product by selling that product.
Mm-hmm.
That seems backwards to me. But I like that the day after we're like, hey, we had this problem. And look, as soon as this happens, we let everybody know saying, hey, this time we were able to give them a different number. Last time it was, hey, this happened. I will get you the new number as soon as I get the new card,
right.
Which, by the way, won't be for a while because they offered me the option of sending one in the mail, which they do normally, or they said, your local branch can print a card for you right there. Like, great. So I lunch break, went up to the bank. Turns out they couldn't because they have a new computer system that isn't compatible. And first it printed out a card with my name spelled wrong. It left off the K out of Patrick. Even though I saw on the screen it was typed right. Just the card itself didn't have it. So I couldn't have that one. And then they couldn't reprint. So then the other branch in the neighborhood also was having trouble printing. So they have to send me the card.
Yay.
Which I could have just saved the trip and said send the card as it is. The last time this happened, they expedited it and I got it in 2 days. This time they're like, it'll be the standard 7 to 10 days. Yay.
Okay, thanks.
So it did cause trouble because we had a Kickstarter that went through that I got an email like, hey, it didn't, your charge didn't go through, which I had changed the Amazon information, but changing Amazon doesn't change your Amazon payments.
Sure.
And also I went to specifically to try to change Amazon payments and couldn't figure out how to until they sent me a link.
That's cool.
Well, they sent me the link because it didn't go
give them
through.
money.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate, but this has happened enough that you just roll with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
You do what it takes.
Nothing you can do about it. And thankfully, beyond the inconvenience, nothing was really lost. You're not out the money.
Well, Temporarily, we are.
Well, I mean, the money doesn't exist for a little while, but eventually it all gets sorted out.
Yeah, until that specific charge posts, they can't dispute it and put it back. It's been flagged, and it hadn't posted yet today either, which is weird. But when you go through something enough, you just get used to dealing with it, and it may take a lot of work. Like you said, nothing was lost. When I get my new card, it'll take me like an hour to do the rest of the accounts that I need to.
Sure.
Because I have a lot of auto pays. And there have been things like, hey, this new album is out. I can't buy it because I don't have an appropriate card.
iTunes card goes on.
Yeah, exactly. iTunes goes on that card. So things have to wait. Fine, it's not the end of the world. So when you get a voicemail, what time of the morning was that?
6 a.m.
6 a.m.
Which is why it went to voicemail, because it was 6 a.m.
I always say that I have to keep my phone on 24 hours because I have elderly parents and there's emergencies that happen occasionally. And I own a business and I need to be able to receive calls. Like if there's an alarm call,
sure,
I need to be able to react to it. But ever since I got this 6S, and I keep my phone on vibrate all the time.
Sure.
I don't have the ringer on.
Same here.
Ever since I got the 6S, the vibration is low enough that it doesn't wake me up, whereas my previous 4, whatever I had, my iPhone 4, the vibration would always wake me up. And it's not on me, it's just on a table next to my bed.
Sure.
But it would still be loud enough to get me up.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen as much anymore.
Sorry.
Because I had a missed call at 6:30, but no message. However, they left a message for Dal, and you heard that message at the start of this...
Top of the episode.
This episode. So, Dal alerted me to the fact that it had happened. So I said, well, I guess I'm going into work.
Because I was mostly checking to make sure that you weren't already taking care of it.
Yeah.
Because occasionally, we'll both get the message, and since by the time I noticed it, it was 9 a.m., like 8:45, I just wanted to make sure that you weren't already dealing with it, and you were not, and then you were.
I want to say it was like 8:35.
I thought it was more like quarter till,
earlier,
but maybe.
Because I was there before 9.
Okay.
So yeah, somebody had kicked in, smashed in, broken our front glass door, and come in and stole all the startup cash we have in the store. Now, longtime listeners will recall. That's my Jersey accent coming through.
That's your Long Island podcast voice.
We had a very similar themed episode a little over 4 years ago, in July of 2014, the last time this happened.
Yep.
And we're not clear on if this is our 4th or 5th break-in.
Lost track.
I want to say it's our 5th, because we had 3 where they took monitors but didn't have to break in.
Well, they didn't smash in.
Yeah, smash in. There you go. They had a break in every time.
They broke in, but they didn't break in.
They might have had to break in the 3rd time. Yes. So the 4th time would have been the day I was leaving for San Diego in 2014.
Okay.
And then the 5th time would be today. Mm-hmm. And each time something happens, we kind of up our security a little bit more. And we have ADT. We have...
To almost no effect.
We have the sensors on all the doors. We have motion detectors all throughout the store. Now, this was a very suspicious-looking break-in because we have shatter-resistant glass. Not shatterproof. No. But basically, it's spider webs, and it doesn't... glass doesn't go everywhere.
Thankfully.
I mean, tiny bits and shards do, and we have 2 vacuum cleaners full of glass that it will attest otherwise. But it stays mainly together. So they broke or kicked their way in. I keep saying kicked because there was no blunt object. Mm-hmm. The previous time there was remnants of a cinder block or a large stone type of thing. Back in 2014, there was an object they broke the window with.
Yeah.
This time there was nothing. And also, by the time I got there, the glass in the door had shifted down by about a foot. So there was a nice foot of space at the very top of the door where everything slid down evenly, because it was still basically one piece. and they managed to get from the door to the cash register. Once again, they stole the entire money tray. Now, we always leave the money drawer unlocked. Specifically, so if somebody breaks in, they don't steal the whole unit.
Yeah, because the cash that's in there is less than the value of the actual cash drawer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd rather them just take the amount of cash that's inside instead of making us have to buy an all-new cash drawer.
Yeah. But the last 2 times, they've stolen the drawer.
Well, the tray out of the inside.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the plastic tray that the bills and the coin go in.
Yeah.
Which to me seems like it's just going to slow you down. Like, throw all that money in your pockets.
Yeah, the last time it happened, we had expected to see the tray itself around the corner or something.
Yeah, like it was discarded in
like
their
you're just
going to
carry, because it's 15 by 11 by 4.
Dal knows that because he measured it today.
Measured it to figure out how to replace it. And that's a weird, rectangle to have to carry around with you, especially when it's coin and cash and whatever, and there's not that much cash in there. It doesn't take long to subtract that cash from the tray and
2 to 3 slots. That's all.
Yeah.
We do not keep a lot of money in the cash drawer. It's just startup money.
For this reason.
Yeah. Now, if it were me, and I knew I was doing this, I would have a satchel or a sack of some kind to put everything into immediately. Even if I took the drawer out, I would dump all the coin in it and just drop the box. Mm-hmm. Well, you don't want to carry that.
Sure. Maybe they really wanted 2 flash drives, a bunch of rubber bands, some paper clips.
Yeah, that's the stuff that hurts the most.
Yeah.
Those flash drives.
It's
There's nothing on them, but they were key shaped and they fit in so well, and they didn't take up a lot of room in your pocket. And we used them for all of the flyers and banners we make for the store.
Yeah, this kind of goes hand in hand with what you were saying about the credit card and identity theft. Obviously, there's more of a financial problem with a break-in like this, which we'll talk about. But some of the invisible things that are troubling about it are just all of the inconveniences. Like, you were mentioning that today, with the cash tray gone, you would find yourself needing something out of it, like a rubber band or something, and realizing, oh, it's not there now. So now we have to go, get more rubber bands, or get more paper clips, or buy new 16 gig flash drives. Just all these little things. We have to make a new version of one of the keys that we keep in the register. It's not mission critical. We can go a week without it, but it means we've got to make a special trip to go get a new key made and get a new keychain for it.
And the key that we keep in the drawer is one that we don't care if people steal because it doesn't help them get into the store.
Yeah.
But it's a key that we use for our own purposes that makes things easier for us.
Yeah, so it's just things like that where, if you take the money, I don't want to say it's fine, but I would rather you just take the money. Like, the other thing that you don't care about is...
And that you're going to throw away.
Is honestly maybe worth a little more to us than the cash that's in there. Like, I would... If you take the money out of there, it's like, God damn it. But if you take the money and all the things that we have to replace and all the extra work we have to do to replace it, the replacing the tray... Because this isn't just a thing you can just go buy at Jewel or at Staples or whatever. It's $90. It costs us $90 to replace the metallic plastic tray that's on the inside of the cash drawer.
It's because they don't just sell that. The manufacturer, it's an HP brand.
Yeah.
They don't sell just the tray. You have to buy the whole cash drawer.
Yeah, and all the places online
tray.
that sell cash drawer trays do not sell it for the model we have. For whatever reason. I don't know why.
And the model we got from Diamond Comics when we got our entire POS system, our point-of-sale system.
Originally.
Yeah.
And then we had to rebuy it because...
Right. So last time this happened, you actually found a $26 one on eBay.
Was that how much it was?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
No, it was great.
It's great in comparison.
For just the actual money tray. This time... I was finding them for $150 and blah blah blah. If we had to buy this unit new, it went for $377.
Yeah.
Was one of the ones we saw.
Yeah, it's over $300, which again is why we leave it unlocked, because having to replace the whole thing is 4 times the amount of money we keep in the register, and that's not to put a specific value on it, but the replacing the tray and replacing like the key we've got to get made and the flash drives that were in there, whatever, is equivalent to the money that was actually stolen.
Yeah.
Like, the value of the robbery, before you even get into the break-in and stuff, was double what the person actually stole money-wise.
And then, when you add in having to replace that glass door...
Mm-hmm.
So
which, thankfully, we didn't have to board up this time.
Yeah, I was just going to say, in the past, we've called up board-up companies, and they come out and board it up, then we got to call a glass company, and they have to come out and replace it, and, they have to...
Cut the glass?
Yeah, all that stuff. So, one of the things I was worried about was, we have 2 computers at the store. On the non-register computer, I have a file called accounts. And on that account, in that account file, it has the board-up company, and it has the glass company we use. Because we need to have these things handy, because too many times we're like, who do we use?
Yeah.
What is the thing?
Who is good?
So I called the board-up company first, and I said, hey, we need to have somebody come board it up. And the woman on the phone's like, can you describe the crack pattern to me? And I did, and she's like, okay, we can actually replace the glass. We can skip the boarding up and just replace the glass. And I said, oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Usually, like, sometime, because this happened early morning, and by the time I was calling people, it was 9 o'clock, businesses are actually open. It's when you call them at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning that you don't have these options available to you.
Yeah, they will only board up. They won't do the glass because no one's around to do the glass yet.
So she's like, look, I will have the installer call you. And then I started cleanup. And then I realized, wait, I've never heard this new phone ring while vacuuming before. Will I be able to hear it when I'm vacuuming? No. Because I had a missed call.
Uh-oh.
And I don't know if you noticed this on our new phone, because we have a new phone. Mm-hmm. When you scroll through the calls, it just gives the 7-digit number. It doesn't give you the area code.
Oh, whoops. I didn't notice that.
So when you hit the callback button, it just dials those 7 numbers.
Mm.
So I had, in that time period, I had a Google call, of course.
Of course.
And so I'm like,
Our Google listing. It's out of date.
I didn't know if this was the installer, so I tried to call back, and I couldn't. And I thought, he wouldn't just call, not leave a message, and not call back. So I kept the phone on me, and I'm cleaning up, and I had about 2 hours to get stuff done before people would come in. And it took me that long to clean everything up and get things ready and figure out what to do for a new cash drawer and get money for it and unblock the middle door where the manga rack was so people could use that door. I printed up signs. I put a chair on the outside of the building that said, please use middle door. I put a chair in front of the door on the inside that says, please exit through middle door. Mm-hmm. So all that was ready. I had to get a door stop for the middle door because we took the handle off of that.
Yeah.
All these little things that you do to make life easier, and you realize, oh, right now it isn't. Cleaning up all the glass, getting the store ready for people to shop in. At the same time, I got a message from Donovan saying she was going to be late, just like 2 weeks ago when I was walking back from FedEx in the rain, and I was late. And I'm like, hey, Donovan, I'm going to be late. She's like, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But I was there. So, I mean, it took the entire 2 hours. I also had some personal stuff I had to deal with as well. So I needed to... I had already gotten the police report from the police, but I needed to call our insurance agent, and I needed to call the alarm company because, here's the part I hadn't mentioned, the alarm never went off.
Yeah, the only message that we got about a break-in was from the Chicago Police Department instead of our alarm company, who should probably be the first one to let us know that there's been a break-in at our business.
Yeah.
It's basically what we're paying them for.
So, somehow, this person or persons got in, got the money, and got out, never setting off. They didn't set off the door sensors because the door didn't open. They didn't open the door.
Right.
But it didn't set off a motion detector, and there's motion detectors. Did I already say this earlier in the...
I don't think so.
There's motion detectors all over the store.
Yeah, there's one at least in the entryway, and basically like...
You can't be behind the front counter and not...
Yeah. When we got the alarm system and the sensors and stuff installed, it was specifically because this area behind the counter is where we need blanketed in detection. Like, you should not be able to get back there without setting off an alarm, because that's where we keep a lot of important things.
So I had to talk to multiple people at the alarm company, setting up not only trying to figure out why it didn't go off, but to set up a emergency sales call to have somebody come out and check the system. And long story short, they did, and they found a problem, but not the problem. They found a problem that we didn't know we had when we switched our phone service from Comcast internet phone to AT&T Uverse internet phone. Wait, no, it's Comcast Uverse?
Nope, Comcast is Xfinity.
Okay.
AT&T is Uverse.
And the guy was saying Uverse. I'm like, which one is that? We have AT&T. Uverse.
We don't call it Uverse.
Yeah. He found a different problem, which is causing something else that they have to come back and fix separately, and it's going to take a ridiculous amount of work for us to get ready for, because the original ADT installer 10 years ago mounted the installation box like 14 feet off the ground in the back room.
A back room that looks very different all these years later.
Yes. So Dal and I will have to go in next week.
Thursday.
And I'm not telling them when, Dal.
Thursday.
We don't know that whoever did this isn't listening right now.
Thursday.
So we have to be able to... but anyway, that's unrelated. Because the problem they found isn't why motion detectors didn't go off. It's a different thing altogether.
2 problems, at least.
Yeah. All of this had to get done before we had the event tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, so a good friend of ours and a good customer, and the gentleman who was behind our anniversary party this year, was the first guy in. And I was just filling him in real quick, because a lot of people would walk by and see me sweeping up the glass and seeing a big broken window and be like, oh man, that sucks. Or one guy walked by and said, I'm sorry. And I said, why? Did you do it? He goes, what? No, I just mean I'm sorry you had to go. I'm like, I'm just kidding, dude. Just kidding. It's such a... I thought it was such a weird thing for someone to say, oh, I'm sorry. You know, like he was taking blame.
Right.
Or taking credit. Yeah. Yeah. But I was explaining it just matter of factly, like, yeah, this is what happened, this is what we're doing. And he said, you know, I have a bunch of things I have to do today, and they're already kind of going wrong, but I'm going to take your attitude on this. I'm just going to, okay, it's happening, I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, man, all it would do is ruin my day more is if I was angry about having to do all this.
Yeah. How would that help?
Like I had said earlier, this isn't the first time this happened. So it's not like, oh no, what do we do? It's like, all right, here's what we do.
Literally the same thing we did 4 years ago.
Yeah, let me just put my head down and do it. And honestly, by the time you got in for the party, would you have any idea this happened?
Not until I looked inside the register.
Yeah.
Then I'd be like, where did the tray go?
Okay.
What, guys?
That's true.
Guys?
Well, I kind of tried to quiz Kent when Kent came in later today. I'm like, Kent, where'd you just come in? What? Where did you just come in from? The door. What door? That door. And he points to the front door. I go, that door? Yeah. That door right there? Yeah. So you don't notice anything about the door. Oh, the poster's gone. Well, yeah, the poster is gone, but so is every other decal, every Chamber of Commerce sticker, every CBLDF, every Fantastic Four sold here, every Image Comics sold here, every Tokyo Pop manga sold here. All of those things are gone. It's just a solid, clear pane of glass. Yeah, what happened? Like, all right, like, to me it looks completely naked.
Sure, it's weird.
I mean, I put the open and close sign back up because we have to. I mean,
so the 24 by 36 poster holder, is it like destroyed or is it just gone? Okay.
Yeah, it was not reusable.
Okay, that was my question.
I mean, it came off cleanly, like they had to kick it off or something, right. But glass was all over it.
Sure.
And that was a new one too, right? No, did I?
No, you replaced the open close sign.
Right. Because, yeah, remember that one, like, once blew off and got... Like, that was pretty beat up anyway.
Well, the open close sign was pretty...
No, I'm talking about the poster frame.
Oh, the poster frame? Okay.
It one time the wind took it off and it went down the block and someone had to chase it down. Sure. And it had been patched up and whatnot. Okay. I was going to replace it because we have blank ones.
Yeah.
We don't have any more Velcro.
It's fine. I don't think it needs to be done immediately. It can wait a little bit.
I just want to do it because it would fill up the door for me a little bit.
Okay.
Because all I see is naked door.
It's too confusing.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
visually.
4 years ago, we lost the Pat and Dal graphic.
I like that graphic.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, it's still on the door, on the back door, but it's completely, like, out of date.
Oh, my God. It's woefully out of date.
But it was the whole, like, it was the linchpin to the design.
It really was.
We were beckoning all the heroes who are running across
they
up
were
Western
running to
Avenue.
the door, and we were saying, come on in.
Yeah. Yep, we were welcoming people in. So
unfortunately, we welcomed thieves and burglars in.
So a real fun couple of days at Challengers, and
been a bit up and down.
Yeah, I mean the phrase we've been using a lot is cost of doing business.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean we want people to break in. But the moral of the story is it's $700 to replace the glass.
Yeah.
I mean, if we shopped around, I'm sure we could have found somebody cheaper if we were willing to wait.
Which we weren't.
No, we wanted this done as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, when we did this 4 years ago, basically to replace everything, to get everything taken care of and whatever, it was $1,000. Cost us about $1,000 for that break-in. So that's essentially, when it happens again, it's basically what it cost again.
Yeah.
Overall, it cost us about $1,000. Yeah. For someone who got away with about $100 worth of cash. Like, that's was galling about it 4 years ago is still frustrating now, where it's like the person who did it caused 9 times as much damage as they actually got.
Yeah.
Like, and they don't, I'm sure whoever did it doesn't care. I mean, of course they didn't care. Like, they broke in. That's a given. But it's just like, man, like, I almost want to say, like, if you needed the $100 that bad, talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't give it to some...
I wouldn't give $100 necessarily.
You know what? It depends on who it is.
Yeah.
It legit depends on who it is.
Yeah, I think the most I've ever given someone on the street, I think it was $20.
I paid you back.
This is a stranger.
Also, I didn't pay you back.
No.
I mean, you got it from the store, so it's technically my money.
Yeah, this was a stranger on Damon. It was near the holidays. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to help this guy out.
Wow. Didn't he OD that night?
I have no idea. So, yeah, I mean, just the like, God damn it. Like, it's costing us $1,000 to repair and replace and restock the $100 some guy got.
Yep.
Like,
I mean, to be fair, this person could have caused a lot more damage.
They could have. And weirdly, when you had sent me the pictures at first, because of the way the glass had drooped in the door frame, I thought, oh, is this not a break-in? Like, was this... I thought maybe this was someone got drunk on Western Avenue Thursday night and, you know, kicked in something or dropped something or hit something. And then you said, no, it's a robbery. And I'm like, how'd they get in?
So I didn't have my cell phone on me. I had putting it down to do something. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't notice that I saw your text, like, is everything all right? Like 45 minutes after you sent it.
Yeah, well, so, you had gone in, and I wasn't expecting an immediate, like, status update. But after a while, I'm like, kind of curious what's going on. Like, how bad is this?
I mean, I didn't even think to call you because I had so much work to get done.
Of course, and I mean, I didn't take it personally. I understood.
But were you worried? Were you like, the killer was still there?
No.
And now they got him?
No, I never thought...
Well, thanks a lot, man.
I never thought anyone was in any danger, because it was daytime and there was a cop outside, probably. But it was that... Is this a little damage or a lot of damage? Like, is this like it was 4 years ago, or did they take other stuff?
If
like,
it was a lot of damage, you would have gotten a, I need you to come in right now.
Well, that was part of it, was do you need me to come help? Like, is this a bigger problem than we've dealt with before?
I mean, I gotta say, I was pretty impressed with how much I got done by myself.
Sure.
And handling all of the, talking to the insurance company, talking to the alarm company, dealing with the alarm company when they came out.
And that's on top of having to deal with Donovan.
Right?
Which is its own special burden.
No, Donovan was great because I needed to run a personal errand within the first hour of me being there.
Sure.
And that's right when the glass guys were working.
Although, she did a thing when we were setting up for the Ryan Browne party.
Yeah.
You were trying to put the 3D Cowboy book in the system.
Yeah.
And she jumped in, and I thought you were going to lose it. I'm like, oh, man, this is going to be a rough night. But you rolled with it. You took it in stride. You walked away.
She didn't do it to be mean.
She didn't, but that never seems to matter to you.
She did. How dare you?
With her, I think there's times where, like, you're mad at her because she's doing it on purpose, and there's times where you're mad just because it happened.
Look, nobody knows what my relationship was like with Donovan when you're not there.
It's true.
All I'm telling you, and I've said this before, she's very mean.
I will allow for that possibility. I have not witnessed it. It could absolutely happen.
Donovan has also been going through a lot this week.
It's true. Her whole family.
Yeah. I didn't tell you this part. So, right when I can't remember who I was dealing with. So there was a bunch, like some people needed a lot of hands-on help today, and Rachel Bard was in, and we were trying to see what we needed to restock for her.
Sure.
At the same time, a guy was in from a local art school who was doing a project on local creators. They had to buy a local comic, and then they have to do a response comic for it.
Did he have $100 to spend that was covered in broken glass?
So I'd said, like, tell me about your project, and does it help if you actually talk to a local creator? Because all these things I'm doing right here, this creator does. So he went over and talked to her, and then bought one of her books.
Smartest purchase he'll make.
But as I was doing inventory on what we needed from her, I get a phone call, and it's on my cellular device.
The real Rachel Bard. What the hell?
It is my good friend Giancarlo Nardini from Club Lago Restaurant, who always likes to say, Patrick Brower, this is Giancarlo Nardini from Club Lago Restaurant, when he answers. I'm like, hey, buddy, what's up? He goes, I hear something about glass.
It's a new movie that's coming out. It's from M. Night Shyamalan.
I'm like, wait, is this...
Technically third in the trilogy.
Is this a mentalism trick? Like, is that my card? He's like, what happened? So I go, roughly what happened, and he's like, that's terrible, if you need any help. I'm like, no, it's fine. I go, but anyway...
How did you
How do
hear
you
about
know?
this?
Well, it turns out that somebody who was in for lunch is someone who listens to a police scanner.
Weird.
Heard it talked about on the police scanner and said, oh, you know that place.
Oh, it's the name of the business?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And he named the customer, and I know the person, so it's not like I'm like, they did it. How else would they know?
Unless they bought pasta with $100 covered in broken glass. I mean...
and $8 in change.
They also sold some USB drives? It's weird. It's
so
weird.
That was weird. Like, I'm hearing something about glass. Like, get out of my head.
Where's the microphone in the store?
Right. I believe my one joke to you earlier was how there was no real exit pattern. Like, the people didn't leave through a different door. They had to leave from the way they came, even though the glass was all still broken in, but it's possibly shifted downward on their exit. But there was no glass trail leading anywhere else, and it would have been on their clothes or their feet or something. I'm like, so they got out the same door, or they've been hiding all day inside the gaps between the bookshelves. And us leaving now, like, they've already had a chance to
make their escape.
Yeah. But you have your phone on you, right?
I do.
So when the police call you back...
I haven't been checking it, though.
Oh, It's funny how you immediately think, like, all right, this is going to happen again, and then you go 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this was in the light of day.
Yeah, I mean, they found it in the light of day. It probably happened a little earlier than that.
Yeah.
Because, again, the alarm didn't go off. So it might have just been a patrol car going by on Western Avenue, as they do, and went, hey... That looks like a broken door.
Here's another interesting tidbit. When I called our insurance company, the agent I was talking to said, oh, wait, I saw a cop shining a light on your store this morning, but I didn't put it together until now.
Somebody had mentioned, when we brought it up, that there had been a break-in earlier in the day, that it had been something that is maybe going around the neighborhood a bit. They mentioned a local Cuban restaurant around the corner.
Oh, really?
Had something in the last few days.
Oh. Huh.
So it could be someone just working locally.
Huh. Yeah, I had suggestions of things I thought maybe we should do differently, but none of those stop our door from getting kicked in.
Yeah, it doesn't stop us from having to pay out $1,000 worth of damages and stuff to get everything back to normal. And in case anyone is going to amateur detective this or try and provide a path to justice... let me assure you, no one will ever be caught for this.
Oh, no.
It's
not at all.
the police are not going to catch anybody. We're not going to be looking at people in the lineup. There's not going to be any dusting for prints. I think we did all that 4 years ago, and literally nothing came from it. We never got any sort of follow-up from the police. And at this point, no one expects anyone. Like, even if we had them, dead to rights on camera or something, they're not going to find them. I mean, they would need, like, you would need to catch the guy literally doing it. Like, you would
even
have
if Jennifer Garner could identify them positively all in lineups, and again, in a courtroom, they're still going to get off.
Yeah.
They're going to have a good lawyer.
Yeah.
They're going to know that we're on antipsychotics.
So, I'm sorry, which of us is going to go train around the world for 5 years before coming back and getting brutal, potentially racially inflammatory justice?
Well, I mean, the other one of us is dead, so I'd prefer the dead part, so it's you.
Well, so it's kind of your fault, is what you're saying. Because you're the one who brought this on.
No, I'm the little girl.
Oh. It wasn't her fault?
I mean, she did want peppermint ice cream.
I thought that's how... She was the reason all of it happened. She was the criminal, right? Was that not how the movie ends?
Spoilers.
I read too much.
Spoilers.
I read too much into it. That's my fault.
Spoilers. And honestly, like, if we were to, let's say, deposit all the money at the end of every day and have no startup cash, if someone breaks in and the register is empty, what do you think they'll do?
Probably start rooting around.
And causing damage and doing something.
Probably.
At least if there's money in the drawer, they get something, it's worth their time, they leave.
Well, and, I mean, once again, like, the money in the register is a tenth of the damage they caused. So, like, even if we move that, it's like, great, it cost us $900 instead of $1,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And again, keeping in mind, assuming that whoever did this is not listening, I mean, we're not tricking you. There is no other money on the premises when you're in.
Oh, pretty much for this reason.
It's just a matter of...
We're a store in Chicago.
It's just a matter of, like, the convenience of having the startup money in the drawer when we start up.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things we would always do is, if at the end of the day we're buying a roll of coin for the next day, we'll always open it and pour it into the change bin as opposed to leaving the roll whole. Even if let's say there's still like $1 in quarters, but we already have another roll ready, we open that roll of quarters so it's less enticing. Because if you see a roll of quarters, like, bam, I grab that.
Sure.
But if you see $10 in quarters in a pile, it's like, do I risk that?
Depends how much laundry you need to do.
Then they take the drawer.
Yeah.
Then they take the actual plastic drawer. Oh, goodness. I didn't know that we would talk about all of this for an hour. And an
entire hour.
I was ready. We had a special guest star we were going to use at some point in this episode. And I don't know that it's even... Like, now I'm just calling it out. Like, there's no natural...
Yeah, you just be like, here's
segue.
This thing.
Yeah, so I don't have any... I don't have a glorious way to introduce him. It goes on for a while.
Good, you paid for it.
I guarantee you that's going to come out like crap on the recording.
I wonder if it's too close.
Well, the sound is coming out this way.
Yeah, but it's loud. Yeah. Like, if you were that loud that close to the mic, I don't know how it's going to sound.
So, normally, if we were to have just played Bobby Roode's theme and dropped it into the episode, I'd be worried about copyright violation or something like that. But seeing as how this is a Bobby Roode action figure that has a sound chip in the base, and it's a sellable product, this is more of an advertisement for that.
This is a dumb thing where we were at Target walking down the toy aisle, specifically the wrestling toy aisle, and I saw this Bobby Roode action figure, and it was one of their entrance ones.
And he's packaged with his back to the
so he's got his robe that says Glorious on it, and I look at it and I pick it up and I'm like, I show Patrick, I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. He's like, meh, and I'm like, yeah, it would be cooler if he had like a bass or something that played his theme song. Like, that's the whole thing about Bobby Roode is his theme song and how cool it is. And I put the package back down and I look at it and there's a little cutout that says "Try Me," and I go, wait, what? And I pick it up and sure enough, there's a button and you press it and it plays his theme song. And so that went from to yes, buying it tonight.
Right. I did lament that it doesn't actually spin. Like, it should have a little plastic turntable thing as well.
But it was already $32. How
Yeah.
much more do you want it to cost?
Yeah, I know. $32 is ridiculous for this. And had I known we'd be spending $1,000 replacing a glass door, would not have bought it.
Well, I guess it's a good thing we bought the Bobby Roode action figure first then.
So we at least still have this bright spot at the end of this episode of Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business and theft podcast. Whether it be identity or actual money or vandalism, on the Yak Channel Podcast Network here in Chicago. Have we missed any announcements this week? I know there's like a ton more Spider-Geddon covers that we don't care about and will not carry.
Probably not. I don't recall there being... I mean, there's definitely been stuff in the industry.
Yeah.
Valkyries for one.
Yeah.
And Alterna for another. But I don't know that... I mean, I was never a part of the Valkyries, and I've never thought I need to be involved in the Valkyries. It's not for me.
Yeah, the Valkyries, real quick, was an organization made up of women and women-identifying creators that worked in comic shops. And it was a way to... initially, it was meant to further the medium and get people excited about books and to use their position to better the industry. And also a level of commiseration, as most online groups are.
Yeah, a bit of a support network for women and non-binary employees, owners, managers of comic shops.
And I think that stuff is great.
Sure.
I do enjoy commiserating with other retailers in the different groups I'm in, but I will also tell you that a lot of them have concerns that either don't matter to us as business owners, or they bring things up with no resolution or solution.
Yeah.
And I admire the Valkyries for saying, we have gotten off topic, we are not capable of doing the thing that we started out to do, and the industry has changed, so the Valkyries is just dissolving.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but they're, as a group, they need to do what they think is best. And so beyond essentially reporting on it, I kind of don't have, I don't feel angry or happy or sad or confused, or it's mostly just, I guess that's
Are you doing Schoolhouse Rock?
Was I?
So when you're happy, hooray, or sad, ah, or frightened, eek, or mad, I
don't think I've ever heard that song, so no. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to dig it up and drop it in.
Thank you. That would probably make the head of the Yak Channel Podcast Network unhappy if you did.
So I won't.
So yeah, that happened, and then Alterna's...
let's not talk about that.
Yeah, they've got a weird social media policy that we're not a huge fan of, but I'm not on social media, so I don't really care a whole lot in that regard. It's things... Both of those are news stories that I think are important and definitely have an impact on a lot of people. I'm not one of them.
Yeah, it does. Those two things don't affect how we do our business, how we run our business.
No.
While several, but I don't know how many challengers are or were Valkyries, they were not very active.
Okay.
I will mention it to the ones that I know. I don't even know for a fact who was or who still is.
Sure.
I want to say 3 of them.
Okay.
I'm not positive.
Okay.
But again, like this is, in theory, this podcast is how the topics in the industry inform how we run our business, and those two things do not.
Yeah, I mean, it was brought up, I think, in one of the articles that one of the huge things that Valkyries had an impact on early on were books like Lumberjanes. Like, they spread the word about a book like that in a way where it's still being published, frankly, because of them, because of how big they made that thing when it launched.
Before we go, I want to remind everybody that Batman Day is the very next Saturday on your calendar, so long as you are, in fact, listening to this before Saturday, September 15th, 2018. And we will have 3 artists doing free Batman and Batman-themed sketches, including Luke Smarto, Stephanie Mydad, and Tom Kelly. We will have at least one cosplayer. We hear it's potentially... Should we say, or let it be a surprise?
Maybe let it be a surprise.
Let it be a surprise. We were both very excited to hear what the costume is.
Yeah.
And I've seen some process work, but I misidentified the specific version of the character.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be an all-ages costume.
Yes. And we will have... are we having activities?
Well, there's activity pages. I haven't printed them out yet. And I was going to talk to you about, do we want to print out activity pages for kids to work on?
Is it the same ones from last year?
I think it's a lot of the same ones from past years.
Yeah, we will have face painting, which we need to decide on tomorrow. Sure. And the big draw for people that are already getting people excited, 20% off all Batman and Batman-related merchandise.
Yep.
When we say Batman-related merchandise, we don't mean issues of Justice League because he's in it. We mean Batman comics, Batman graphic novels.
I would also expand that to like Batgirl, Batwoman. If it's got Bat in the name, I'm probably okay with it.
Nightwing?
I mean, maybe.
Case by case basis.
I could be talked into it.
I don't see it happening, but not like I said, not Justice League.
Yeah, it's not a hard rule, but there's
not Harley Quinn.
Yeah, if Batman shows up in a Superman comic, I'm not going to count that one.
Right. But I don't think people are going to be asking about Nightwing anyway.
No, and we've done this discount years past, and it's not that much of a problem.
So that is coming up, and it'll be a lot of fun. And many years ago.
How many?
Gosh, I want to say 90. Summer of 91.
I thought you were going to say 91 years ago. I'm like, Jesus.
No, summer of 91, summer of 92. A very young W. Dow Bush dressed up in a Michael Keaton Batman suit, rubber Batman suit, on a very hot summer day.
And wave to cars.
And perhaps that'll happen again.
Oh, okay. If I can be very young again, sure. Sounds like a pretty sweet deal.
You'll just have to show up and find out that it won't happen. Thanks for listening.
And keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.